What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about SoFi. I want to give you a quick Cole's Notes version of what happened, go over some of the data points and everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi closed to 0.85% in the red, 28.02 million shares being traded, 44.89 is the average. Even if you look at the intraday, rather boring day, especially for the first part, you can tell it did want to break out. And then of course you had right here, this is a byproduct of the FOMC meeting minutes. And then this alongside, this was more optimism. And then after hours is NVIDIA. So I think NVIDIA kind of gave the rubber stamp for the broader market to go green tomorrow. So that could really stand to benefit SoFi. But once again, it'll come down to the technicals. So I'll talk all about that. Today, there was no news, no SEC filings. So kind of quiet from that. Shorts did double down. So they increased 2.18 million shares. 16.49% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 171.27 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization 68.53. And then cost to borrow average is still low. So 0.94%. But one thing to note though, the cost to borrow minimum is now at 0.25, so that negative has gone. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see shorts increasing. Just looking at kind of the logistics during the trading day, it looks like they did kind of increase during the FOMC meeting, unveiling the minutes. So obviously they were kind of doubling down on that. Whether they close out due to NVIDIA earnings, we'll just have to wait and see. When it comes to options, 3.02 million in calls, 1.58 million in puts. Sentiment-wise, 46% of all the options being done today are bearish. And just obviously with us kind of being midway through the week, just looking at the open interest, you do see 18,000 at that 7, 41 at the 5, and then 20 at the 8. So most likely, I think SoFi's chances of getting above 750 might be gone at this stage in the game. It didn't really have enough momentum for it to stay there. I think earlier part in the week, it was a little bit more optimistic, but I don't know. Things could change, but usually SoFi has really struggled with these walls because market makers and shorts always kind of make very strong resistance levels around this. But needless to say, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. Right now, 18,000 at that 7. So hopefully SoFi does get a nice push up to the kind of closer to the 750. That way shorts and market makers won't try to suppress it below 7. So once again, something to kind of consider. These are some of the transactions that did occur today on the secondary market. So institutions are buying, and I think that's been the case over the last couple of days. It's just algorithmic trading has forgotten about SoFi. So again, that could be a good thing. And then institutions buying is always positive. 3.6 million, 1.39 million, and then 1.43 million. Like I said, I think the broader market's been holding its breath just for NVIDIA earnings, just to see if we're screwed or not. And we are very much in the safe, at least. I think they completely hit a home run for their earnings. So yeah, I think that should be a very good green stamp for the next couple of days at least, or for this week. These are some of the transactions that did occur. On the dark pool though, over $100,000. So 2.61 million, 1.12 million, a couple of other ones right here. So dark pool is always very popular because it is linked to shorting and whatever else. Looking on the charts itself, so with it closing at 702, these are some points to watch for. So it kind of did bounce off of this S3. So 696 is a very strong support that we do know, at least going into the next couple of days. 701, this is kind of where it did land exactly. So going into obviously tomorrow, just once again, watch for this 701 to be flirted with, and then 705. But in my opinion, it might be premature to talk on and kind of jinx it, but I do feel that SoFi is going to have a fairly green day, oriented to probably between this pivot and R1, or even as high as the R2. So again, that's just a little bit more optimism. Once again, had nothing to do with the FOMC meeting minutes because they kind of were somewhat negative. Oddly enough, some members did point out that they wouldn't be opposed to raising rates dependent on the data. So kind of crazy to think of. I know that was more of a common thing that they brought up like a month, 2 months ago, something like that. So that's somewhat resurging. And then just higher for longer was more of the consensus. On the actual chart itself, it is still lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. Based on the high, it was wanting to transition into the higher, but not really enough there. So still kind of sticking within this range. You do see a bearish deviation starting to form on the stochastic, but like I said yesterday, it is considered somewhat neutral, so not overbought nor oversold. A number of retail investors kind of got out today, so maybe they're tired of the lack of hype or whatever else. I know that's one thing that's really discouraging a lot of investors. Every other fintech seems to be rallying, and SoFi seems to be lackluster. That's been the case for a very long time. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, if you've been selling, what have you been doing with SoFi? I do feel like this is my record for a video, just to give you a quick summary. Again, a lot of things kind of happened today, but at the same time, not really much to SoFi exactly. So yeah, once again, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.